Now it is time to go back to London, where we'll find our next honoree for this year, NBC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Richard Engel. For this award, I'll turn it over to the Vice President of the Association of Foreign Press Correspondents, Susan Modares Tehrani. Susan, over to you.
Today, for his fearless, trusted coverage, his relentless pursuit of truth, and his dedication to the highest standards of professional integrity, it is my honor as Vice President and on behalf of the boards of the Association of Foreign Press Correspondents in the United States to present to you Richard Engel with our Lifetime Achievement Award in Journalism, our annual press award.
It is such an incredible honor, and it is humbling and daunting. I didn't think I would get a Lifetime Achievement Award. I feel still very young. I remember, even though I've been doing this for over 2 decades now, I remember starting out, and I was a freelancer. I had no connections. I had no money. I would go to organizations like the Foreign Press Club and say, hey, can I get a press credential? I want to be a foreign correspondent. I want to go overseas. I want to send dispatches back and tell stories of intrigue and political importance and potentially unrest from around the world. And that was 2 decades ago, over 2 decades ago now. And it has been a wild but a wonderfully rewarding ride. It is the best job in the world. For the last 20 years, I've been able to sit in the front car of history as it is plowed over countries. And I've seen some wonderful, beautiful things and some moments of incredible heroism and compassion. And I've seen some very, very ugly things. But it has always been fascinating, illuminating, and it has been my privilege to share these dispatches with people who have the time and the willingness and the interest to tune in or read about them on Twitter or however the news has been transmitted and will be transmitted in the future. And I think right now, foreign correspondents, I thought for a stage that we were kind of a dying breed. I thought maybe with the internet and social media, you wouldn't need foreign correspondents as much. People would just be all reporting the news themselves. And that turned out not to be the case. I think the fact that everyone is out there with a phone and a Twitter and putting out part of the news is incredibly helpful. And it has revolutionized the news landscape, but it has also made credible, experienced, prepared voices all the more important. And this I would say to any young person out there who wants to be a foreign correspondent, you got to put the time in. Read the history, learn the language, spend the time, because it makes all the difference in the world. And I think right now that is the only thing that will differentiate you. It used to be if you were just in the right place at the right time, then you could make it. You could get a big break. Well, now everyone is sort of everywhere, so you're never going to necessarily be always at the right place and always at the right time. It's having the right preparation and having credibility. And I think it is a wonderful time to be a foreign correspondent because there's so much noise out there. There's so much information being pushed onto people, disinformation, that a trusted, prepared voice at a moment of historical inflection is an important job, and it's a lot of fun to do. So people who are out there who might be wanting to be correspondents one day, do it. It's the best ride you'll ever have.
There has been a lot of talk about the role of journalism, how journalists' roles have changed or have not in recent years. What is the role of the international correspondent, in your view, in helping to spread democracy? And how can journalists working today fulfill their mandate, if they do have one, to speak truth and expose lies?
So I think democracy is too often confused with voting. Voting is a part of democracy, but Voting is also just putting pieces of paper into a box or pushing a button on a computerized terminal. Voting can bring in dictatorships. Democracy, at its core, is dependent on a free press. It is dependent on having an educated public. And when I mean educated, I don't mean just that they've read Shakespeare and the classics. I mean they know what is going on and what is at stake. So I would say the most fundamental pillar of democracy isn't just folding a piece of paper and putting it in a translucent box and dipping your finger in some ink. It is knowing the issues, understanding the issues, and having the freedom to discuss those issues. So I think, I'm not trying to say that journalists are that we bear the weight of democracy on our shoulders. Absolutely not. But it is a vital profession to give people the tools in order to carry out their democracy. Because if they don't know what's at stake and they don't know what's going on, they can be manipulated and be cajoled or fooled into dropping those pieces of paper into a translucent box and carrying out the acts of democracy, which might actually work against democracy. Censorship used to be trying to stop journalists, trying to stop people like me from finding that needle in a haystack and showing people, hey, look what I found. This is really important information. Now censorship is about confusing people, bombarding them with 1,000 needles and 1,000 haystacks. So even if I'm holding it up, it doesn't matter because there's 1,000 other ones that look just like it. So the job is the same. Go find that piece of thing and show it and say, this is why it's important. Look at this. This is important. Look what I just found. The job is the same. But now there's so many attempts, deliberate and just by the nature of the technology, to confuse and blur out the message. That censorship now is not to hide it, take that object and throw it away, that still exists, but it's more to overwhelm and confuse, like the static on your television, that it becomes so blurry and so pixelated that you can't understand a story anymore, you can't understand the truth anymore. So the job is the same, but the environment has changed.
Richard Engel, thank you so much for your time and congratulations once again. It really was an honor and a pleasure to have you with us to accept this award. We really hope that you do come back and talk to our members and good luck on your next adventure. We can't wait to see what you're working on next and see you soon.
My pleasure, my honor. And thank you for all the work that you do and to all your members. And I would just say, get out there, get moving. There's a lot we've been missing.